Hi, everybody. My name is Angie Watson, and I am CEO and co-founder of Happy Cabbage Analytics. I'm going to get right into it. Today, I'm going to talk to you about why the targeted SMS marketing campaign is a cannabis retailer's biggest revenue driver. So, why should you listen to me? Well, as mentioned, I'm Andrew Watson. I'm co-founder and CEO of Happy Cabbage Analytics. What is Happy Cabbage Analytics? We're an integrated data insights and marketing platform that's designed to help cannabis retailers and brands target lost customers and automate informed business decisions from their first-party data. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that what we do is we take point-of-sale data at the retail level and using our data science expertise that we have as a founding team, try to figure out what you should do as a business in order to thrive and survive in the very competitive landscape that we exist in cannabis. So what problems are you probably trying to solve? Well, you want to grow sales. Why do you want to grow sales? Because margins, taxes, and incredibly large amounts of expense and craziness with COVID means your business might go bankrupt unless you can actually make sure that you are increasing and growing sales profitably. So how do you do that? Well, our approach is to assume we know nothing and to say, hey, your data will actually tell us how you can grow your sales effectively. So what we do is we go into the point of sale data, and time again, at each retailer we go to, what we find is that every single one has a massive opportunity as it relates to customer retention. Nearly half of all of your regular customers probably haven't come back into your store in the last 90 days. And if you don't know how many lost regular customers that you have, email me after this presentation and we'll find that number out for you. So let's talk about those lost customers and why they are such a large revenue driving opportunity. So a lost customer is someone who already opted into messaging. They've already purchased products at your store. They already know who you are, where you are. They've gone through the operational process. They know how to order delivery. They're aware of the brand, right? But for some reason, they haven't come back into the store. Now, you might assume, well, maybe they order every 3 months. That's not true. A regular customer orders on average every 20 days, and 90% of all regular customers across the hundreds of thousands of consumers that we have analyzed in our database order every 45 days or less. So now that you've identified, okay, I have a large segment of potential customers to go after, and I'm already spending $100, $500, $10,000 on weed maps, billboards, and other mechanisms to acquire brand new customers at very high cost of acquisition, I should try to at least get these folks back into my store. So what avenues do I have to do that? Well, you could try going after Google, Facebook, Instagram, but those channels are walled off from us, right? SMS marketing is the best tool at your disposal to communicate with these lost customers. It's a channel that consumers are used to. It is a channel in which 98% of people are opening these messages and 80% of people are checking their messages within the first 15 minutes of their day. I challenge you to take out your phone now, and let's say that you haven't used Postmates in over 90 days. Look at how many push notifications that they have tried to bring to you to give you personalized deals to bring you back onto the app. SMS marketing simulates that strategy. It's the same thing that armies of data scientists are doing at Uber Eats, Postmates, Airbnb, Yelp, to try to get you to re-engage. All we are doing is allowing SMS as a strategy to do that for cannabis. And furthermore, there's a keynote I said about that army of data scientists that are working at the big tech companies. they're giving personalized recommendations and personalized messages to re-engage, which is why we built tooling to allow for advanced segmentation of your customer base so you can go after both your current and your lost customers in intelligent ways. We start with your point of sale data. We figure out what are the patterns in that data. What are the product categories? What are the brands? What are the geographies? What are the order frequency, the order latency, the demographics? And then we close the loop and determine how effective are different segments in their ability to convert after receiving a message, and then use that data to continue to iterate. So a lot of you probably already know some of this, and a lot of you probably are deploying SMS marketing in some way. But the question is, are you getting the most bang for your buck through that marketing? So let's talk some categorical numbers. Looking across our entire customer base for a 90-day window, let's see how much in sales each individual customer engagement drove in a 24-hour period. So on the far right, we have, I would say, the generic thing. Get a list of 5,000 customers, 10,000 customers, and text them all once a week a deal that you're having. What kind of results should you expect from that? Well, what we see from our data is that customers who do that see on average $1.16 per customer engagement within 24 hours. Said another way, if you are texting, let's say 1,000 people, you should see about $1,000 of sales within 24 hours from that segment. Now, let's say that you split that segment across people who like edibles, people who like flower, people who like vapes, right, by product category. You text the same 1,000 people, and you should see about $1,333 of attributed sales by going after it based on product category. Now, let's say you go one step further and now identify by each of those product categories people who have purchased key major performing brands. So you go after vape people who have bought Raw Garden. You go after flower consumers who have bought Flocana. You go after edibles consumers who have bought Kana gummies. When you apply that, doubling down on both the brand and dispensary awareness, that's when you start seeing material shift of results, where effectively going after that same 1,000 consumers, you can start to generate $3,600 of total attributed sales within 24 hours. Now, you can imagine that this can start to get complicated. When you have dozens of different attributes that you can match consumers along, when you can look across thousands of consumers and try to understand how often they're purchasing, what they're buying, when they're buying, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it can be daunting. And this is why so many retailers revert back to text everyone. They don't have time in their day to do all of this. Well, again, we're a team of data scientists, and we're trying to make your lives easier by empowering you to use your data. This is why we invented a proprietary machine learning technology that algorithmically sorts through your customer data and identifies high propensity segments, making you realize $3,700 of attributed sales within 24 hours if you are going after 1,000 consumers solely using our machine learning generated consumer segments, right? That is nearly a 4x ROI from the way that you were previously using texting. And if you're not using texting at all, it's $4,000 directly to you. So let's make it a little bit more real and talk about some actual examples of campaigns done with our tool and what results people were able to see. So in the last 90 days, the award for the largest ticket size for a campaign goes to a customer of ours, dispensary in San Francisco, who targeted 376 lost customers, 376 Regular customers, they weren't lost, but they had purchased Good Flower and Cresco. They preferred vaping concentrates, and I believe they hadn't come back into the store in about 14 days. On average, those consumers bought $463 of product when they came into the store. Now, again, going back to that number of who made the most money when they texted 1,000 people, well, this award goes to $11.79 to another dispensary in San Francisco, targeting a group of customers who preferred edibles and had purchased Emerald Sky in the past. Only went to about 291 folks, but $11.79 per customer reach within 24 hours. That is large dollars, people. Now, overall highest ROI, which going after more people means you're going to ultimately get a little bit more sales, goes to this customer who has about 20,000 contacts, a delivery service out in the Central Valley of California. They selected a segment of their customers, very simple segment of their high spenders. And they basically said, Tuesday VIP Club Blast, effectively inventing a loyalty system on the fly, rewarding these customers for their high usage of their service. And they were able to drive nearly $19,000 of sales in a 24-hour time period, going after a segment of about 7,000 folks. Now, overall highest conversion. So if I text 1,000 people, what is the highest text message that then brought the most of those 1,000 people into the store within 24 hours? So this goes to actually a customer of ours in San Luis Obispo who runs a delivery service. They, using one of our machine learning generated segments around flower consumers, were able to bring in 12.3% of the people that they message back into the store within 24 hours. Segment went out to about 293 people at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. And then finally, talking about those lost customers. It's so important for you to constantly be tracking, knowing, and engaging your lost customers. Again, if you don't know how many you have, I challenge you to reach out and we'll figure it out for you. But basically, a customer of ours in the Far East Bay who runs a delivery service, they went after specifically about 293 customers who hadn't come in the last 90 days. And they were able to bring about 10% of them back. And those people spent $2,000 within 24 hours. So taking a step back, what does all of this look like when we actually think about the maturation of an SMS campaign that is actually targeted and personalized based on consumer preferences? So as a store, you should expect that 24 hours after your campaign, you should be making $1.86 per customer reached. Within 72 hours, those same customers that you reached should be spending about $4 per customer. And within 7 days, they should be spending $6 per customer. You, if you don't know this information about your existing SMS campaigns today, need to be tracking this and knowing this so that you can evaluate the success of the different parts of messaging that you're doing. Again, we can help with that. But another important thing to note is go back to that $10,000 I was mentioning about weed maps and billboards. If you know that you're spending all this money on new customer acquisition, you should also be tracking and thinking about how many of those new customers have you actually acquired and how many of them are reordering. What is your total lifetime value of those customers? So when we take that framework and apply it to those lost customers we're getting back, what we find is that our customers, when they reacquire lost customers, 34% of the customers that they reacquire are reordering within a 90-day period, effectively generating thousands of dollars of attributed sales for a single customer coming back into the store who hadn't been back in 90, 180, sometimes longer than a year. Receive a message, says we miss you, comes back into the store, starts ordering every 14 days. So as a retailer, taking a step back even further, what financial results should you be expecting from your SMS targeting? Again, you should be reacquiring lost customers, and you should be expecting about a third of them to reorder within a 90-day period. You should be expecting at least a 30x ROI from your spend on your SMS solution. If you don't know how high this number is, I challenge you to ask your account managers. And if they're unable to answer that question, again, we can help. And what does that mean in terms of average customer reached? $6 in attributed sales when looking at about 90 days of overall campaigns. So I'll leave it there. Let you ask some questions. But again, the core concept is you need to grow your sales. The data is telling us that one major way to grow your sales is by engaging your existing customers. And the way that you can maximize your spend on existing customer engagement is by targeting them based on product preferences, order frequency, order latency, and other attributes that make your message more personalized and more actionable to your consumers. Thank you.